field goals in the playoffs. That's hard to believe, but it's tonight versus the Trailblazers, 14. Against the Sonics in 98, they hit 13. I actually remember that game. May 8th, 2010 against the Jazz, they hit 13. 6 games with 12. Let's go back to the bubble. Mike's now joined by LeBron.
Hey, LeBron, we know how much respect you have for Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum in that Blazers backcourt. What's been the key defensively in trying to limit them as the head of the snake there in Portland?
Just following the game plan. As much as those guys make tough shots, you still have to try to make them take tough shots. You can't pressure them because they live under the pressure. They succeed under the pressure. They thrive under the pressure. But you can't have breakdowns. And when you have a defensive strategy, you have to execute that defensive strategy for 48 minutes or for the minutes that they're on the floor. And I think we did a great job with that tonight.
What did you see as the biggest difference in AD from game 1 to game 2, and how did you try to help facilitate that starting in that first quarter?
He was just aggressive, from the beginning of the game. Wasn't passive at all. Looked for his shots. Even some of that he missed early, he continued to look for his shot, and he did a great job of offensive rebounding as well, getting some putbacks in that fashion.
Yeah, LeBron, it's Dave. How does your guys' defensive effort help this team score on the other end?
Well, that's been one of our staples all year. Our defense always fuels our break, fuels our offense. When we're able to get multiple stops in a row, we can get out and run our lanes, run our patterns, and we can either get guys flying down the paint for dunks and lobs and layups, or our shooters can get going from the perimeter, which was the case tonight.
Allie? All right, we're going to start with Kyle Goon.
LeBron, obviously Portland has had a really good run in the bubble, and that game 1 they had a lot of spirit. And how important was it for you guys to just kind of crush them a little bit and demoralize them?
No, it was just one game, and we wanted to execute about 48 minutes, and we felt like we did a decent job of executing the first game, besides the opening minutes of the first 6 minutes of the first quarter, and then the last 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. And that's when they took advantage of us. So we knew we had to not have as many defensive laps, not many breakdowns coming into this game, no matter the score, which would give us a better chance of winning the game.
Tanya Ganguly?
I know that it's just one game and you've been through this enough times that you know not to keep things in perspective a little bit, but this was the best your offense is like in the bubble. And I wonder, do you think that was important to be able to have a game like this and kind of get that back?
Well, it's always great to see the ball go through the rim, but more importantly, to defend. And I think sometimes your defense energizes your offense. But from the beginning of the game, it was great to see KCP have no conscience about his shot, get it going from the outside. JaVale did an unbelievable job getting offensive rebounds, second chance points. And everyone who came into the game just gave us energy and effort. And trickled down to everybody that played tonight.
Brian?
LeBron, I saw Akron on your mask there. Did you have any concern yesterday when the president urged people to boycott Goodyear, with what that could mean in the community? Obviously, a lot of jobs and things back home there.
Nah, I know my people of Akron, and I know what Goodyear means to our city. So. One thing about us is we don't bend and we don't fold and we don't break for nobody. So I'm not worried about that. Not only has Goodyear been great for my city, for the history of my city, but for the country and what they've represented. It's an unbelievable brand, unbelievable history. So. We stand strong and we always unite, especially in my city. We've always felt like we've been counted out, being a small city, and that's what rallies us even more and makes us even stronger. So, shout out, salute to all the workers, men and women at Goodyear over the course of their history, and to the city of Akron.
Chris Mannix?
When the perimeter shooting struggles the way it did, in the restart and in game 1, how confident are you coming in that if you keep making the same plays and keep getting those guys the ball, those shots will eventually fall?
Because I'm confident when it comes to work ethic. And when you put in the work, the results will happen. If you didn't put in the work, that's when you get worried. And our shooters and our guys put in the work every day on their shot. And, repetition, when you have repetition, you have results. So never a doubt in my mind. And we still didn't shoot the ball extremely well tonight. We had some go in, but I feel like we're going to get it going at some point where everyone is shooting it in. So, but guys are repping, guys are working, so it's nothing to worry about.
Taylor?
Hey, LeBron, there is a video of you saying we're built in the middle of the game. So what are you guys made of? I mean, in your opinion, what makes you different from the rest of the league? What separates you from the rest of the league?
I really don't compare us to anybody in the league. It's not what everybody else does. It's not what the time everyone's put in. I just know what type of season we've had this year. It's been 3 or 4 seasons in one. We've had a lot of. It started from training camp to preseason, traveling abroad, to entering the new year with the tragic death, obviously, of Kobe and those victims on that helicopter, to the stop of the season, to players getting injured, Rondo going down for a big year, to the restart, not having our brother Avery Bradley here. And so on and so on. I don't even know. It feels like it's just been like 3 or 4 different seasons. So I know what we're capable of. I know how we're built. And I don't compare us to anyone. I compare us to us. And, I direct that to every one of our players because it's not about what everybody else is doing. It's about our mindset.
Okay. Back to Tanisha. I think you're the last couple. A few.
Yeah, just 2 more. Bill Worm.
Hey, LeBron. There's a debate that that gets made about whether or not AD is the best teammate you've ever had. And I don't expect you to answer that, but for you to have a guy who can carry the load the way he did tonight, where you play sub 30 minutes, only need to score 10 points, and you guys lead by 30 pretty much in the second half. One, would you have ever believed that would be possible? And 2, just what kind of asset is that for this team moving forward?
I've had some great teammates in my career. AD is one of those unicorns, and he does things that some of my other great teammates are not capable of doing. But in the same sense, I've played with Dwayne Wade, and he could do some things that, the AD is not capable of doing. And also played with Kyrie Irving, and he can do some things that D Wade and AD is not capable of doing. So I've had the luxury of playing with some great players, and that's just 3 of them. But in the presence, to be able to go out and orchestrate the offense, orchestrate the tempo, and get it to the hot man, get it to AD, and let us run our offense through him is a luxury for myself, is a luxury for our team. I play no pressure basketball. I get opportunities to get shots. I get an opportunity to get lanes. I take advantage of them. Tonight didn't cause for me to do much offensively or force much because not only AD had it going, but we had our shooters going as well, and our bench came in and just gave us a huge lift. So, every game has its own challenges, and tonight, AD was magnificent, and KCP was amazing as well.
Last question, Melissa.
LeBron, when guys are making 3-pointers, how much does it change the offensive flow and just open things up and change the rhythm for everybody on the court?
Well, you just said it. 3-point shot is a big time shot in our league. We've known that. Obviously, the numbers have went up over the last 10 years, but it's always been a great shot. Even in the 90s, even in the 80s, if you had the ability to shoot the 3, it just spaces the floor. It brings the defense a little bit closer and allows your attackers to be able to get into the paint and do what they do best. So, the ability to be able to hit, shots from the exterior gave AD room, gave myself room, gave Alex Caruso room, also gave Dwight and JaVale room to be able to work in the paint. And You know, we want to continue to have that. We want our shooters to continue to shoot without no conscience, and we're going to continue to give them the ball no matter make or miss. And we live with the results.
Thank you very much. Taylor, you want to follow up?
Yeah. So you're holding the autograph of Malcolm X along with Alex Haley. I don't know how far you are into the book, but what's your biggest takeaway so far?
I kind of just started a couple days ago, but I've read and a lot of notes over the years. This is my first time actually reading this from start to finish. But just a very smart man, very, very, very smart man, and basically. His words in the 60s and what was going on is actually what's going on today still. Him understanding how powerful the Negro can be. He used that word a lot. How powerful we are, but we have to unite. And we have to be together. We have to stand strong because there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be, things that's going to be thrown at us where they try to weaken us. They try to make us feel like we're not kings and queens. And it's going to come from all, different races and different shapes and sizes and things of that nature. And just a very powerful-minded gentleman, and it's unbelievable to kind of read something that's coming directly from him. You just hate. Wish I had an opportunity to meet him. Obviously, we know what the situation that happened along not only him but Dr. Martin Luther King.
Conference bracket. Only Houston leading 2-0. They have looked great. Oklahoma City struggling offensively. Jazz tied it up at 1 apiece. Dallas tied it up at 1 apiece. And the Lakers get even tonight, so the Western Conference shaping up. Let's hear from AD. He is speaking with the media.
We spoke back in training camp, and you told me that you want to be in a situation where, you play big games, and if you don't show up, your name will be dragged through the mud. Your name will be in the tabloids. Game 1, you go 8 for 24. You guys lose to start the series. Did you feel any of that kind of pressure that you were desiring, and did it help your Game 2 performance?
Just pressure on myself. I asked a couple guys on the team, some coaches, how can I be better? And they all told me I played well, but just critiquing myself, I knew I could be better on both ends of the floor. And just wanted to come out with the mindset tonight to be aggressive and to help my team on both ends of the floor and do whatever I have to do to help us get the win.
Hey, what did you see on tape from that first game about the way that Portland was playing defense and just how packed into the paint they were, and if there was an adjustment that you had to make, if at all?
Well, they were packing the paint because they were forcing us to make shots, and we didn't make shots in Game 1. Tonight, guys got back in the rhythm, made some shots, and we were able to get to the paint. Then, after we seen the ball, go from 3 a couple times, which opens the floor for everyone. And so we just gotta stay locked in, keep taking the time, especially when we catch the ball on the 3, and continue to knock them down, which is gonna open up the paint for post-ups or drives. And then when they do come to help, making the right pass, the extra pass to open shooters to knock down more shots. So the difference in the game was just us making shots, and then I think we did a great job defensively. And I think they had 88 points, and it's a team who's been very hot from 3, from mid-range, from the free throw line, and to come out and do what we did defensively. Even in Game 1, I think we played phenomenal defensively. We just had some mental mistakes towards the end, too, on my part. But tonight we came out, with a sense of desperation, a sense of urgency on the defensive end, and was able to turn a lot of those stops to fast break points.
Hey, what's the biggest key for you defensively as the secondary defender on either Lillard or McCollum when they're coming out screen roll action? Maybe what do you have to focus on as a help?
Just being up, those 2 guys, especially Dame, likes that deep ball 3. And so just being up, trying to take that away and make those guys, beat us with scoring twos. They're a really great three-point shooting team, and we just try to take those shots away and make somebody else beat us. But if they do, have the ball in their hands, force them into the 2-point area, and live with a contest. And if they make it, then we tip our hats to them. But we really want to focus on taking away that three.
Ali?
Kyle Goon?
AD, you had a couple shots from mid-range in the first quarter that weren't falling. It seemed like you made a point to kind of attack the basket more. And then that third quarter, down your touch, I think you had that first possession where you dribbled up and hit the butt-open three. Does getting to the rim and sort of getting that touch there affect or correlate to what you can do in your deeper shots later in the game to build your confidence, anything like that?
I just tried to be more aggressive and take my time on shots. I felt like in game one I was off balance a lot. The 2 shots I had in the mid-range in the first quarter I actually liked. It was inside the paint. I just missed them. And then just staying confident in my shot, honestly. Trying to get to the free throw line and attack the basket as well, and find guys that make a play for myself. So just being more aggressive and not just settling for the jumper, but also getting to the basket, finishing and playing through contact and not looking for a whistle. We're just going to finish, and then if the ref blow a whistle, then they do. If not, take my time in finishing, and then that kind of just, opens up the floor for me when I'm driving and be able to knock down the mid-range, for guys to kind of fall back a little bit to kind of stop that, which leaves the three open. So just kind of playing what the defense gives me and taking the right shots.
Joe Garden?
Anthony, when you're playing in a game like that and you're dunking on them, smothering them defensively, and Dame can't get loose, do you feel the other team's spirit change? Like, do you feel energy start to drain, momentum shift, that kind of thing?
Anytime, you're not performing well, your energy, always changes, but, with us, we want to take away their confidence as early as possible, because they can get going very quickly, especially Dame, him and CJ and Melo, so we try to do as much as we can to limit those guys early. If they coming off shoot, it's going to be a tough shot. It's going to be in your face, and if you make it, then, hats off to you, which they can. But, we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can defensively to kind of limit those guys and, and also on the offensive end, putting them in actions to, kind of tire them down because, those guys are elite scorers. And as much as we can to, as they go on the offensive end and try to attack us, we have to do the same thing and, just trying to make it tough for those guys all night.
Mark Medina?
Anthony, when you talk about playing aggressively in games, are there things you do in particular during the day as far as your routine or pre-game warm-up that you think is pretty instrumental to get you in that mood?
Nothing really changes. My routine has always been the same, so there's nothing that's really changed. It's just a matter of going out and doing it, and I think guys know, especially Bron, he didn't say one word to me today, but he kind of already, he kind of knew. He saw the look on my face from the beginning. But it's just a matter of going out and doing it, and just playing a lot of energy and effort, which you can control. I can control how hard I play, how much effort I play with. I can control about, shots being made. But I can control how I play on the defensive end, and I can control my energy and effort.
All right, Tanisha, I think you have a few on your end.
Yeah, last 3. Melissa?
AD, mentally speaking, with everything going on, did you feel like you needed a performance like this and the team needed a win like this?
I just feel like we need to win. We don't want to go down 0-2 in the series, and, our entire mindset the entire season has been, never lose 2 in a row. And we just wanted to come out very scrappy, kind of the same way we did in game 1, and just have a lot of confidence in making shots. But, we never want to go down 0-2 in a series, and, it was a must-win game for us, and we played that way, played with a sense of desperation and a sense of urgency, and, like I said, to be able to hold that team, the 88 points who've been playing extremely well in this bubble. Officer rating is off the charts. It's great for our team, great for our defense, but it's still one game, and we got 3 games to go, or 3 more wins to go, and we just want to make sure we come out with the same energy we did tonight.
Anthony, you mentioned that you asked coaches and teammates about your game one. They thought that you played better maybe than the stat line, at least offensively. Said when you went back and looked at it though, what did you find that you didn't think was up to your standard, and how did you work to change that tonight?
Defensively, it was plays on the defensive end that I usually make. I was hesitant in rotations. They were getting a lot of easy layups at the rim, offensive rebounds. And that's all a effort thing, energy thing. And so I just try to make the adjustment to just play free. I know the reads and I know the rotations that I have to make, and we're all on the string tonight. But me just talking to the team and kind of being that defensive anchor that I've always been, just kind of helped the entire team tonight.
Last question, Lauren.
Hey, D, quick question from LA. I know that LeBron mentioned just some moments ago comparing you to, or not comparing you, but putting you in the category of some of his former teammates and Kyrie and Dwayne Wade. And what has the relationship with LeBron been like for you to kind of enable you to have the confidence and make sure that you guys are clicking on all cylinders when you're down, 0-1 in a series?
I was really down on myself after game one. Like I said, I didn't feel like I performed to the level I needed to, and he let me have my moment, and kind of get on myself. And then, he talked to me and said I was fine. He said it's one game, and as a guy who's won multiple championships and been in these situations before, he knows what to expect. He knows what to expect from his teammates, and he just kind of just was there for me to kind of encourage me and keep me level-headed, because it was just one game, But our relationship has been great, the entire season. I just kind of just been leaning on him to this entire season. I'm just trying to figure out the tricks and trades of playing with a guy like him and a team like this. And it's been fun. It's been great. The on-court chemistry is clicked from day one. Off-court chemistry, you guys see it all the time on social media and stuff, how close we are. But on-court, I never played with a guy, of his caliber. And to be able to have the success that we're having so far is great. And just kind of, he just been standing in my ear about everything, especially through, the playoffs right now. He's seen it all. In the 25 years he's been playing, so he's kind of just been there for me and just supporting me and just kind of guiding me through this entire process.
All right, thanks, AD.
We got Access 360, but you liked what AD said in this post-game press conference.
Yeah, particularly LeBron ushering him and guiding him through this process. It's kind of like the gift that keeps giving. You think about D. Wade and he had Shaquille O'Neal, and then LeBron elected to go to Miami in free agency and he had D. Wade, and he ushered him through that process. So now he's able to do the same with AD, and he's accepting it with open arms. And I think that's the amazing thing about, passing that torch. And he's doing a remarkable job at it.
And accountability after game one. Talked about, hey, I'm my worst critic.
That's the most important thing. Yeah. You're not going to play a great game every game. So you got to go look at the video, which I'm sure he did, took account for himself. And that's what the great ones do. They bounce back.
Time for a little Access 360. Obviously, we're going to break it down. AD.
I think he did a remarkable job at this, keeping the defense guessing the entire night. And, first game one,
defensive side of the ball is where it should be for playoffs, to win in the playoffs. And we have tremendous respect for the offensive firepower of the basketball team that we're playing. So, just been pleased with our team's effort and commitment on the defensive end in both of the
Frank,
first two games.
what was the biggest difference for Anthony Davis from game one to game two?
you know, he just was aggressive and he was making perimeter shots. You know, I thought he got plenty of good looks in the first game. Just had a tough shooting night. You know, that stuff happens from time to time. But he certainly was aggressive, and you know, as you play a team in the playoffs, you know, each game that goes by, you get a little bit further, better understanding of how you want to attack them. You know, their defense. So there's some things we did slightly differently to get him involved, but you know, for the most part, he just stayed aggressive, trusted his perimeter shot, and had a big night for us.
Hey Frank, it's Dave. You have that saying, paint to great. You've mentioned to us a few times. Obviously, your paint scoring was working tonight, and also you shot the ball much better from the outside. How much is that part of the identity of this team, and what allowed you to get back to that?
Yeah, well, we have arguably the greatest driving kick player in the history of the game in LeBron James, and you know, this is a drive and kick league. So for our whole group, we encourage touching the paint and you know, looking for weak side shooters. I do have to credit Brett Brown in my sabbatical year when I visited the 76ers. That's his phrase, paint to great. We took that from him. But you know, when we play that way, we typically generate high quality threes. We did it in the first game. We didn't knock them down. We knocked them down at a higher clip tonight, but we still have plenty of looks that we didn't knock down. And you know, I still think our potential for what we can do, the damage we can do with that concept, you know, hasn't reached where it's going to be, hopefully, in the playoffs.
Allie? Calgoon?
Frank, obviously you pulled a lot of your starters in the fourth quarter, but to you in that third quarter, what was the moment, or was there a moment where you're like, okay, this is it, we got this?
I never feel like we got this, but you know, obviously if you get up 30, you know, you feel good about your team, and but you know, we know this team's got tremendous firepower. So, you know, obviously when Dame went out, you know, that changed the game a little bit, and then they pulled their guys in the fourth. But you know, this is going to be a very difficult series, and like I said, we have the utmost respect for the firepower they have offensively.
Tanya?
KCP had such a rough shooting night on Tuesday, and then we saw him return shooting, and today just to hit those back-to-back threes early in the first quarter. How important was that for him?
Yeah, I'm really happy for KCP. Told him after game one that we started the season this way. We had a couple tough nights, a little bit of a shooting slump, and all he did is go and shoot 40% for the next 4 months. You know, by remaining confident, remaining true to his work, and you know, both games he played extremely well. Game 2 he shot the ball well. Game 1 he didn't, but both games he played really well, and he's a huge part of what we've done. He exemplifies the play harder than our opponent mindset, and he was great tonight. I'm happy for him.
Give it back to Tanisha for a few.
Hey Frank, it's Bill. You know, when you have an underdog that is able to score and really win like they did the other night, there's always a thought that, do they taste blood, or are you leaving the door open for them? Are they getting some confidence with that?
Bill, you cut out.
All right, Frank, you got me now?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. How important was it for you to try to respond and take something out of whatever momentum or spirit they had gained with the Game 1 victory?
Yeah, well, this team was in the conference finals last year. Okay, so they have the ability to be one of the best teams in the NBA. We don't view it as an underdog matchup. You know, they're a heavyweight with the way they play, and with a player like Dame Lillard. So obviously this was an important game for us. We have tremendous respect for them, and you know, we're going to have to battle the way we did tonight every game in the series.
Brian Kamenetsky.
Thanks. Frank, when you get into a series like this, how much of what you do is, you know, adjusting strategies, changing lineups versus is just trying to execute what you want to do and do it better from game to game as opposed to making changes? What's that balance?
It's both, and you know, lineups are one of many adjustments you make throughout the game. You know, using different guys is one thing you do, but There's probably 10 different things on both sides of the ball that we did differently in Game 2 as opposed to Game 1, that helped us take a positive step in the series.
Michael Duarte.
Coach, I know you made emphasis in this game to start the game better than you did in Game 1. Obviously, hitting open shots and three-pointers helps that, but it was night and day today. So how do you attribute to that tonight, and how do you make sure it doesn't happen like it did in Game 1 the rest of the series?
Yeah, well, we returned to form a little bit offensively. We played good offensive basketball in Game 1, didn't make shots. The law of averages, those things come around. They came around some tonight. I still think, we could have shot the ball even better. But our defense in the first quarter was far better in this game than it was in Game 1. A lot of breakdowns to start the game the other night. Much better. We held this team first and third quarter under 20 points. That's extremely difficult to do. So like I said, our effort and focus on end of the ball is at a very high level, and that's appropriate and necessary against this opponent.
Last question, Jim Alexander.
Yeah, Frank, the fact that you were able to get LeBron and AD off their feet in the fourth quarter, how much of an asset is that, considering the schedule of this series and the fact that the amount of recovery time you have between games?
Yeah, being able to take advantage of some rest definitely is going to help those guys, and hopefully pays off in Game 3.
All right, Lakers set a record